In TV shows, the format often follows certain patterns, although exceptions exist. Let's set those aside for now. These series typically begin with an episodic presentation of the characters' daily lives, designed to deepen our understanding of their backgrounds and personalities. This helps determine whether a show will remain a simple weekly episodic series or evolve into something more complex and mature. Now, compared to other series with defined storylines that evolve into enduring successes due to their unique essence, what happens when a series lacks a fixed direction? What if it doesn't have a recognizable style that immediately identifies it when mentioned? If we were to describe such a series in one word, it would be chaos. This leads us to one of Cartoon Network's most chaotic shows, The Amazing World of Gumball.
I'd escape!
What?
The series was introduced to Warner and Cartoon Network Studios on May 9, 2008, more than a decade ago. While opinions may differ, it debuted during a challenging period for the network. Gumball was not initially a fully formed concept, but rather a collection of characters previously rejected by its creator, Ben Bocquelet. He decided to set the story in a school environment, reportedly as a way to rehabilitate these discarded characters and repurpose them for potential acceptance in programs aimed at children, or perhaps even wider audiences, though that was beyond control. This concept showed promise, and after some refinement and minor adjustments, work began in 2007 under Jim Samples, then president of Cartoon Network. Samples supported eccentric and experimental animation, overseeing the launch of many shows that defined childhoods. Other networks recognized him as one of Cartoon Network's best CEOs. Unfortunately, his successor, Stuart Snyder, didn't fare as well. Snyder's tenure saw a shift away from animated content toward live-action programming, resulting in reduced airtime for cartoons, layoffs affecting entire animation teams, a stricter work environment, and limited exposure for fan-favorite shows. Only series run by competent producers with pre-existing contracts managed to weather this era. Had Snyder's strategy fully succeeded, Cartoon Network might have stopped prioritizing animation altogether, stifling creativity and new series development. However, not everything was negative. Fortunately, Gumball was already established by then. A significant challenge remained, though: the show's unique animation style. Its diverse mix of techniques initially intimidated animators. While many were interested, their rates were high, and Cartoon Network couldn't justify these costs before the show aired. After 2 years of searching, they found the right studio that met their needs for quality, cost, and efficiency. Gumball became a European production, specifically British, which, due to its distance from the US and Snyder's influence, shielded it from some of the challenges other shows faced. The show was animated by Boulder Media and other subcontracted studios, chosen for handling the hybrid animation style. Boulder Media, known for Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, was an Irish studio recognized for quality animation at lower costs. However, this choice had its downsides. The studio hired many young, inexperienced animators who were often let go once they gained experience, a practice that became unsustainable as remote work became more prevalent. Eventually, Boulder Media was acquired by Hasbro. Boulder Media experienced production delays, with synchronization issues noticeable in early episodes. Although the animation was never poor, it was complex to unify, involving multiple layers that required significant time, something Cartoon Network was unwilling to accommodate. After the first season premiered, the characters were redesigned, benefiting from lessons learned. Cartoon Network then collaborated with Studio Soy, a more experienced German studio. Though not widely known for large-scale productions, Studio Soy was filled with passionate animators who, inspired by Gumball's success, pushed their creativity further. This change is evident in the plots and themes of later seasons. The first season was the simplest, focusing on introducing the Watterson family. Gumball, a blue cat, and his mother Nicole, also a blue cat. His father Richard and sister Aeneas, both pink rabbits, and Darwin, their pet fish-turned-companion. Each character had distinct yet comedic traits. Nicole, a hardworking mother with a temper, was often exasperated by her lazy husband Richard, who spent his time eating and sleeping. Despite his flaws, Richard and Nicole's moments of genuine love and teamwork underscored their commitment to their family. Gumball, the main protagonist, was naive and unable to solve most problems independently. As a child, his imagination often exaggerated situations. His antics in early episodes were relatively grounded, focusing on typical childhood mysteries, such as discovering new things or the process of growing up, as showcased in episodes like The Mustache, filled with humor and misunderstandings. By the end of the first season, Gumball began to show signs of selfishness, leading to more conflicts. This season can be summed up as one of innocent mischief, childish ignorance, and unique humor paired with innovative animation. The best, however, was yet to come. There isn't much to say about other characters like Anais and Darwin initially. Anais as a baby was sensible and used common sense more than her brother. Darwin, meanwhile, was more of a pet, often depicted as Gumball's sidekick. Out of 38 episodes, Darwin took the initiative in only a few, such as The Pressure, where he panicked when Masami claimed he was her boyfriend. Gumball's attempts to help him mostly served Gumball's interests, resulting in Darwin's minimal agency. By the season's end, Darwin functioned more as an accessory to Gumball than an independent character. This changed drastically in the second season, which brought more complex stories and character development. Gumball's personality evolved. He was no longer just silly, but displayed selfishness and indifference to others' well-being when it didn't suit him. He remained a child, but now with traits that made him less eager to help, contrasting with his first season, where he sometimes tried to aid others like Mr. Robinson. Darwin, on the other hand, became more proactive, akin to an older brother figure, innocent, noble, and less self-serving. This growth is evident in episodes like The Remote and The Leaf, where Darwin takes initiative and even challenges his family. The episode The Sidekick marks a key moment where Darwin, tired of being in Gumball's shadow, asserts his independence, leading to significant development in his character. This shift highlighted Darwin's evolution from Gumball's follower to a character with his own importance and agency, a turning point that enriched the series' storytelling. I really appreciated how they improved the character development. Gumball evolved from just being the protagonist to sometimes acting as an antagonist, with his actions having significant consequences for the other characters. The lessons in the show don't always follow conventional patterns, and the characters don't necessarily learn much. They just want to have fun.
Stop it. Get some help.
Often, Gumball ends up causing some form of chaos or breaking the boundaries of reality. Anais, meanwhile, has grown more arrogant. As the smartest member of the Watterson family, her high IQ and her family's dependence on her create dilemmas that overlook the fact she is still just a 4-year-old girl. This inexperience is what holds her back the most. Richard, on the other hand, has become even more clueless. His laziness is now used more effectively, evolving from merely being irresponsible to having more defined roles at home and even reasons for his behavior, such as being abandoned by his parents or experiencing reality shifts when he tries to be productive. Despite this, tender moments showcase his deep love for his family. Richard, though not intelligent, is capable of being loving and even useful when he puts his mind to it. Now, let's discuss Nicole. This is a bit complex because, in recent years, she has become somewhat of an icon in the furry community, though I'm not entirely sure why. I admit that Micah Inell's animations, where she was depicted in anime style, made her popular for their striking visuals. Back to her character. Nicole shifted from being a responsible working mother to one struggling with anger issues. Despite her love for her family, she often needs to scold and reprimand them. She embodies the overworked employee who is underappreciated at work despite being the hardest worker. She sometimes feels like a potential villain capable of world-ending rage, only restrained by her love for her family. That love prevents her from giving up on life, despite the chaos she cannot fully control at home. Explaining Nicole's role in the family is situational. She can be sweet and kind when left alone, but she is also the most imposing figure in the household. This duality is likely why many viewers have developed an obsession with her character. The combination of diverse personalities in the Watterson family, adapting to various moments, creates the perfect formula for the show. Adding to this is the town of Elmore, filled with unique characters, each with their own stories and animation styles. It's no wonder the show evolved over the seasons. While most episodes are standalone, there are story arcs focusing on individual characters, which I'll summarize briefly in case you don't remember. Nicole's backstory is explored in episodes that reveal the pressure she faced. One episode shows her trying to have a normal dinner with her family, only to discover it's a special occasion. Richard is at his most clueless, and the kids are impatient and complaining. As the situation spirals and dinner burns, Nicole is reminded of the stress she has endured. Her past includes her mother's relentless scolding for being a girl, equating the F in her grades with female, which was unacceptable. This highlights that being a woman is no easy task. Another memory shows how traffic kept her from a competition, and when she finally arrives at the park, she meets Richard, a carefree boy stuck in a tree. He embodies everything opposite to her ambition and rigid structure. The show depicts other possible futures for Nicole, including one where she becomes a feared dictator or undergoes so many surgeries that her psychological state deteriorates. Ultimately, Richard changes her life, offering companionship that allows her to make her own choices and enjoy her youth. Though her life seems filled with questionable decisions, they are hers, and that's what led her to where she is now. By the end of the episode, Nicole learns to appreciate her imperfect life for what it is, full of small freedoms she fought for. The Watterson family's story is explored in several relatable episodes. In The Origins, we see how Gumball met Darwin, who transformed from a pet into his brother and best friend. In The Rival, Anais's relationship with her family is depicted, showing her rivalry with Gumball. Episodes like The Father and The Parents add touching background details, explaining why the characters are who they are. Although Gumball's story is episodic and filled with experimental animation styles, from 3D and stop motion to anime and classic 2D, it also addresses mature themes through skillful storytelling. This blend of humor, creativity, and depth has inspired entire YouTube channels dedicated to dissecting specific episodes. Before wrapping up, I'd like to highlight some memorable episodes. In The Parents, we learn more about Nicole's parents and the suffocating expectations they placed on her. They planned her life to the minute from birth, even naming her doctor to ensure she'd become one. The episode sheds light on the damage caused by parents who live vicariously through their children and never acknowledge their mistakes. Though Gumball wants Nicole to reconcile with them, arguing that they meant well, their selfishness blinds them to the harm they caused. Nicole ultimately confronts them, disapproving of their actions. The ending, where Nicole decides to forgive them, is up for interpretation. It showcases that the most mature path is to forgive and acknowledge wrongdoing to heal from familial conflicts, something her parents could never do. The Faith is another standout episode. It begins with Gumball and Darwin noticing a somber change in Elmore, caused by Alan losing his unwavering optimism. Alan's realization that his efforts never truly inspire lasting change leads him to despair. Gumball steps in to remind him that while the world isn't perfect, it's not all black and white. His advice? Focus on finding the moments that matter amid the chaos. This episode is a powerful portrayal of overcoming depression, teaching that while we may be small in the grand scheme, adding more negativity only makes things worse. The takeaway is to swim against the current and find joy where we can. Despite these setbacks, The Amazing World of Gumball remains one of Cartoon Network's most beloved and profitable series. Although it has been over 5 years since new episodes aired, the show continues to hold a special place for fans. A movie was once confirmed, set for a 2024 release, but news has since been scarce. Some rumors suggest the film has long been finished, but remains shelved. The idea of a new season or follow-up series has also been discussed, but with the original team disbanded, the lore remains unresolved. In the end, The Amazing World of Gumball is a remarkable show that defined the childhoods of many, including myself. If you enjoyed this analysis, please like, subscribe, comment, and share to support this content. Until next time.